Welcome to Daily Dose of Satanism, podcast to get your daily dose of Satanism. I'm your host, Satan. I'm author of Satanic Verse, as well as my blog, which you can check out at satanwolf.com. It's 100% free. Now, we do have some really cool merchandise you can purchase, from books to clothes and accessories. There's a wide selection of both satanic and non-satanic products to choose from for those who've got a rebellious sense of style. While we always appreciate your support, this is the best way to support the show. You can also give us a like or a share or a subscription at any one of our multiple platforms, Facebook to Spotify. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Daily Dose of Satanism. I'm your host, Satan Wolf. This is episode 13, and today we're going to be talking about 13. Exactly, the number 13. For many, it's a symbol of bad luck and misfortune, but for those of us who embrace the adversarial spirit, it's a symbol of defiance and a rejection of the herd mentality. 13 represents the outsider, the nonconformist, the point beyond what is considered whole or perfect in many systems, and for that reason, it has been adopted as a badge of honor by countless groups who exist on the fringes. Now, in this episode, we're going to discuss the significance in different contexts of the number 13, from organized crime, motorcycle clubs, to the very symbols we use in our own philosophy. Now, let's talk about some of the subcultural meanings of 13. Let's start with one of the most notorious examples, the number 13 as a powerful association with various subcultures and organizations, and in each case, it's a sign that they stand apart from mainstream society. And perhaps one of the most notorious would be MS-13 and MA. Many people recognize the number 13 in the context of gangs like MS-13 or I'm not going to try to pronounce their name and mess that up. Hell no, you don't fuck with them dudes, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to keep it at MS-13. Y'all know who they are. But the 13 in the name stands for the letter M, which is a symbol of their allegiance to a larger organization, the MA, or the Mexican Mafia. The MA itself uses the number 13 to symbolize its origins and its power. You don't fuck with them, period. Not even a little bit. The MA, their reach is far and wide, and and dudes don't play. One thing about them, from all my contact with anybody I've had with the MS-13s and the various other 13 related street gangs is, if you're minding your business, they're not likely to fuck with you. They're pretty much gonna, let you, but you fuck with them. You messed up. They don't play. So that's why I say they're one of the most notorious through American history in the recent past couple of decades. They've made quite a hell of a name for themselves out there. Various major incidents in the news, even recently, they're trying to scapegoat this guy who's got deported improperly, saying, oh, well, he had MS-13 affiliation, and they can't even approve it. I mean, but it's because it's like the devil, just like how they use Satanism for everything they don't like. They know they can say, hey, well, this is MS-13, and put that bad guy brand on somebody, and I don't know if it's true or not with this guy particularly, but I'm just saying that's what they're doing. They're scapegoating them with something that they know is easy for people to put into a bad light. Now, you also see motorcycle clubs using 13, and it's got why exactly for them? I know the M could stand for motorcycle, but I'm sure they got more in-depth reasons than what I have knowledge of. I've dealt with a few bikers in my time, and but the thing is, I don't really ask about their stuff outside of what they choose to share with me. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta respect people's knowledge. I know that you see it on a lot of them. With the in-depth exact meaning for them, other than the letter M for motorcycle, I do not know. I know that, it could be because 13 is always, like I said, it's been a symbol of defiance. It's one we accept in that way, and maybe because they stand apart from the mainstream motorcycle crowd, that might be a perfect use for them. I mean, that's what I would see it fitting, because with the outlaw motorcycle clubs, particularly, this one is a patch, and it's there's 1%ers, so it means that their club doesn't follow the rules. They're the rebels. They're the ones who are the 1% who just who are like. So where it comes from, to my understanding, is back in an old motorcycle rally, one of the originals, when the motorcycle clubs were first kind of taking off, and there was a big huff about some people out there just being real aggressive with their bikes, burnouts or whatever. I don't know the exact details. But then everybody was saying, well, it wasn't the whole of them. It was just the 1%. And I know it has some deeper meanings after that for motorcycle enthusiasts. But that's another symbol for them, the 1%. But I'm just saying, I know they use the M. To what extent in depth, I can't say any more than that. Now, my favorite use for 13 is the M for marijuana. Now, let's talk about it's one of the most common uses of the 13 or the alphabet is to represent marijuana. Has been popular in cannabis culture for a long time. It used to be a subtle code, not so subtle anymore. But it's just a way of signaling to fellow enthusiasts a nod of subculture that has historically existed outside the law. And it's just like a quiet act of rebellion, a small mark of shared identity in a world that once criminalized their choice. The first peaceful of all these, but so the 13th letter of the alphabet is where this association comes from. And exactly where the M for marijuana originated, I'm gonna guess somewhere like around the 70s, 60s maybe, but I don't know exactly where that started from. It's like the 420 I heard was some like California college students that used to have a break at 420 and they'd all meet in the parking lot and they'd be like, I'll see you at 420, meaning they was gonna see when it's time to smoke. But that's just a rumor, definitely not confirmed. Of course, I've heard different tales on that one. That just seems to be the most likely one to me. If you guys have heard any variants that you'd like to share, of course, you can always contact me on my contact page at satanwolf.com. I'd love to hear it. But let's move on with the letter 13. Finally, the Friday the 13th for the Last Supper is another association with 13, and of course with Judas, the betrayer, being the final 13th guest. And its association has been fueled with the superstition about 13 for centuries. You know how superstitious Christians can be. This fear is so prevalent, it has its own name called something I really can't pronounce, but it's called triskaidekaphobia. triskaidekaphobia. Now, I'm from the South. Y'all know I talk funny. That's how we talk. If you're from somewhere else anyway, you're gonna think I talk funny. But this is how we talk down here. Can't pronounce crap like that. So, the fear is compounded when the 13th month falls on a Friday. Many people believe this stems from the historical event of October the 13th in 1307 when King Philip IV of France ordered the arrest and torture of the Knights Templar. Once again, the Christians being evil. Dun, dun, dun. And the last use I wanted to discuss today, at least the last I kind of think of, was the tarot card. If you didn't know, the 13th card in the Tarot's Major Arcana is the Death card, but it's not necessarily about literal death. It could be oftentimes used about the end of a cycle, necessary transformation, and the rebirth that follows. It's about letting go of the old and making way for the new. It doesn't always mean death. Sometimes, probably more rarely does it mean death than the other, a lot more rarely. But the idea of cyclical change is also seen in nature. There are approximately 13 lunar cycles in a year, and the number 13 is often associated with divine feminine and the natural rhythms of death and renewal, with mystics, of course, especially, that rever that types of stuff with the moon cycles and their maiden, and and I think that's it. That's all I really could find for number 13. Like I said, if you guys have anything else to add, message me at satanwolf.com.
It's now time for the
Satanic Verse of the Day.
Satanic Verse of the Day. I am your host, Satan Wolf. Satanic Verse of the Day.
Daily dose of Satan.
SatanWolf.com.
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 Now it's time for us to go to our Satanic Verse of the Day from my book, The 666 Satanic Scriptures. This is verse 233. Acknowledge the capacity for both great good and profound evil that resides within the human heart. Recognizing our potential for both is a mark of wisdom. Now, this really explains about what it is to be human. It's not really to be good or evil. That's not, our purpose, to be one or the other, just human. And we can have great capacity to be both. And as adversaries, we must be aware of that within ourselves. And once we're aware of that darkness within, of course, you can control it. But if you just refuse to acknowledge it and act like it's not there, it could definitely run away from you and take control. Not to mention, we got to look at the capacity for both great good and evil in others. And I'm not talking about just as society as a whole, but also within the people that you know in your everyday lives, your loved ones, your friends and your family. And most often, the people that hurt us the most are the people that are closest to us. Very rarely does it come from our enemies. Just a thought for food, food for thought there. And on a larger scale, we must apply this same logic to our politicians and our leaders. It's a profound mark of wisdom to see beyond their promises and their facades and acknowledge the capacity for both good and evil in all of them. Maybe there's no good guy on the stage or no bad guy. They're both just people who have the capacity for good and evil. And this is not about being cynical. It's just about being a realist. The adversary is not naive. We do not assume the best in people, but they're definitely not defined by their worst. It's about seeing the full spectrum of humanity, and in doing so, preparing yourself for whatever comes your way. It's the wisdom to know that no one is truly your savior, but also the strength to become your own.
Daily Dose of Satanism.
I'm your host, Satan Wolf.
SatanWolf.com.
SatanWolf.com.
Daily Dose of Satan.
Power and glory forever and ever.
Okay, so the last part we have left of the show would just be the random useful/useless fact of the day. I forgot last couple episodes, but anyway, so I'm trying to just start new. But before we do that, since this episode is so short today, I wanted to give you guys some samples of some music that I've been making. I had to make music for the show because it was just boring without it, just talk, no music. So I had to learn how to make it, and it's kind of fun. I've been really enjoying it and put a lot of time into this lately in the past couple of days, just teaching myself. And so I want to play like 30 or so seconds of quite a few songs that I've made. It's going to take about 7 minutes exactly, I know, because I've already made the recording. And then I'm going to give you guys the useless fact of the day, and we'll sign out, for the day. But I hope you guys enjoy this music. I put a lot into it, and let me know what you guys think about it. And if anybody out there is an artist that can sing, rap, I don't care, make some music, they can go on top of this, some lyrics, I would definitely love to hear from you, because that's the only thing I can't do. I just don't have that kind of talent. So anyway, here we go. Okay, so I just want to point out that the coughing on the track was me as I was recording the music samples for you guys, not on the track. Like, I'm not that terrible. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're seeing it as very diverse all over the place. If I had an artist that could make, put some lyrics down for me of any kind, we could be all over the place with the types of music we could be creating here. Too bad I don't have musical talent. And who knows? I might just even see if I can develop some, or at least fake it. All of the things that we can do with technology today, we're only limited by what we think we're limited by. Like, we're limited by our own minds. So, the random useless fact of the day: did you know that the total weight of all the ants on Earth is roughly equal to the total weight of all the humans on Earth? Keep that in mind when you're thinking about your perception of significance, and what is significant is often skewed by our own size and perspective. Just something you can think about there. Like, yeah, we may be big here on Earth, but in perspective of the universe as a whole, we're not even dust on the wind here. So it's all about perspective. Keep that in mind. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show, especially the music part. I put a lot of work into this music, really just for fun, but I did put a lot of work into it. And I guess we'll have to see what happens in the next 24 hours or so, and what we're going to talk about on tomorrow's show. Everybody, hope you have a great rest of your day, and may critical thinking forever guide your path. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. So we take this night our right and trespass not on passive pain. Lead us unto temptation, and deliver us from false piety. For this is thy kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever.
SatanWolf.com.
SatanWolf.com.
Daily Dose of Satanism.